All right, good afternoon, everyone. My name is John Olgeen, and I oversee marketing and communications at Chip Ganassi Racing. We have an announcement to make that we're excited about. And so first, I'd like to introduce, obviously, we have Chip Ganassi here, CEO and owner of Chip Ganassi Racing, and Kurt Busch, the driver of the #1 Chevrolet. But before we get started, I wanted to invite Eddie Gossage, president of Texas Motor Speedway, because he has a couple of words that he wants to say and present something to Kurt.
Thank you. Kurt's kind of special to me, and normally when we do one of these things, I get horses involved and stuff, and so, but didn't quite have the time, so I apologize for that. Since Kurt came on the scene in 2001, I have always thought he was a very special race car driver in the sport. I know I've told a lot of our local media back then, you know, the guy to keep your eye on is this Kurt Busch kid from Las Vegas. And in short order, 2004, he won the NASCAR championship. He's won here once in his career, and he's won 31 times in his entire NASCAR career, which certainly today I think will be a Hall of Fame quality, Hall of Fame level career. So I didn't have much time to plan, but I've got a little something here I want to present to Kurt. So let me unveil this. So sorry it's not horses, but we just had a short notice. So
I appreciate that, Eddie. It's been a tough week, but it's been a good season. It's been a good season, and overall, the time that Chip and I have been talking the last couple months, and the win we had at Kentucky, and the different things that have come into place now. I wanted to bring everybody on in together and tell everybody about, it's been a good career. It's been fun, and it's been tough at the same time to see how things have changed, how things have gone. But overall, I have Chip to thank for a lot of the different values that I take away. And so without that, wait, Eddie, really? Wait, a rocking chair, Eddie. Come on.
if I'd had notice, we'd have done the horse thing, or something.
There's no time for a rocking chair. This old guy's got some more kick left in him here.
Anybody think this guy's got anything in him yet?
This is not a young man's game out there all the way through. This is for a veteran, and with a great sponsorship and a great team owner.
Let's do some more.
I'm here to announce that we are extending this partnership, and I brought in some of my great friends from Monster to kick this party. Let's get this party started, all right?
All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Get ready.
Let's do it up.
No more rocking.
Ready, girls? Let's do it. Let's show us how it's done. Yeah. Give it a little twist. Let's get it. There you go. All right, there you go.
All right.
Cheers, everybody.
All right. So just to recap here, we've signed, or Chip Ganassi Racing has signed Kurt Busch to a multi-year deal. Along with that, we've also are announcing that we've signed Monster Energy to a multi-year deal as well, and expansion. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chip, and pretty exciting day, Chip, huh?
Obviously a big day when you can re-sign a guy like this on my right, a NASCAR champion. As I said once or twice before, it's not often you get a chance to bring a guy into a team that's a champion, but he proved that, I think, in his driving this year. He sparked that one car to taking it to places it's never been before. That was the first time a Chevrolet won at Kentucky, I think, and so we were pretty pleased with that. Obviously, having Monster as a great partner has been a real shot in the arm for our team. As we said, John, as John said, we've signed both to multi-year deals, and as always after these events, our PR team will be distributing all our contracts for each of you to peruse with a fine-tooth comb. And no, you're not going to see the contracts. But anyway, I think more importantly though too is Kurt will tell you that I think he and Kyle have had a great time. He and Kyle Larson have had a great time becoming teammates, and I think it's made Larson a better driver, having Kurt as a teammate. I think Kyle will be the first guy to tell you that. And so this guy to my right brings a lot more than just what's on the track. He brings a lot off the track. He brought a lot of guys on that one team their first NASCAR Cup win, and I think you saw that in the exuberance at Kentucky. And so I'm very proud to keep him part of this team for the foreseeable future, and I hope you are too.
Kurt, pretty exciting day. Any thoughts?
Thank you, John. Thank you, Chip. It means the world to me to have this come together and to have a championship quality ride to race at this point in my life and in my career. There were multiple decisions that came into play, and one of them, Ashley, my wife, I love her dearly, and she told me, she says, you need to continue to race so that I can do this Racing Wife show on CMT. So I wanted to get my best acting skills here in the beginning on the gig here with Mr. Eddie Gossage. Thank you. It's always fun to come out to your track and to race here and to race for wins. That's what it's about. And Chip Ganassi, thank you. You give me that opportunity each and every week. And this group of guys on the number one car are special to me. I told them we got to come in right away and we got to go hard. And we raced smart early this year to build up a solid points base. We were able to win at Kentucky. We had some other close wins that just slipped through our fingers. But ultimately, this is about the partnership that we generated in a short time, and also the word and the commitment that Monster Energy gave to me early in my career. And to be with a sponsor for almost a decade, that's something that doesn't happen all that often, and it's very special to me. I'm very grateful for the opportunity to race for Monster Energy in the Monster Energy Cup Series, and to have delivered big-time wins for them, and to have been to Daytona's Victory Lane with all the CEOs. There's still more special moments ahead. There's still more to accomplish. There's plenty of gas in this tank. And again, want to thank Chip Ganassi, all the management at Ganassi, thank you. Chevrolet, with Monster, of course, Gear Wrench, a great partner of ours at Ganassi. Global Poker was on the car for a few races this year. And then what the future brings. Nobody knows exactly. A wise man once told me that, and for me, it's the opportunity of living in the present, and I have a great sponsor and a great team and a great car to go do it with. So with that, it's going to be a lot of fun moving forward.
Open it up to questions. Lee, and then Chris, and Wolfgang.
Lee Spencer, RacingBoys.com. Kurt, I just want to know how relieved you are to sign a multi-year deal, because the last couple of years it's been single-year deals, and just the frustration and anticipation of the stupid questions I know that we ask you continuously, not to have to worry about all that and just kind of go and do your thing. That's got to be a relief to you.
Yeah, part of the skit here today was like, really, I don't understand what the need is to know when my deal will be done. And so it was fun to take you guys on that little ride for a quick minute. But that's the ride you guys take me on every week. And to have a multi-year deal, it will be very comforting to know that I won't have to answer the questions weekly about being a 41-year-old veteran in a sport where there's a young push.
Wait a minute. You're still going to have to answer questions from me.
Oh, of course. Yours are easy. Yours are cupcake questions.
Okay.
But no, to have that done, yes, that'll be refreshing, because the focus should be on track. It should be the on-track product, what happens out there racing, what happens, during the week with different promotional things, and continuing to build this sport that has given me so much. Those are some of the big reasons why I've signed on again, and to keep going and to smile out there and go after the trophies.
Chris?
ChrisKnight@Trends.com for Chip or Kurt. Did Monster expand the number of races it'll sponsor the car next year? And if so, can you tell us how many?
Yeah, you can read that in the post-race contracts that we send out.
Wolfgang?
Kurt, congratulations for the extension of the contract.
Thank you.
You just said earlier you don't know what the future brings. Monster Energy is also involved in other kind of racing discipline, for example, World Rallycross. Is there a realistic possibility we see you in a different race car maybe in the future?
It's a very good possibility. I've always kept everything open with racing. I'm a racer, and again, that's a big reason why I'm here again to race at this top level. It doesn't matter what money you bring home, or it doesn't matter what tough days bring you or what good days bring you. I'm a racer, and so I've driven rally cars, I've driven drag cars, Indy cars. I stay off the two-wheel motorcycle things. I like my roll cages. You know, those are comforting and nice at speed. And so again, Monster, it doesn't matter what it is. When they call, I'm usually all in with them. And one of the first things to go and do and to celebrate is to head up to New York City and to go to PBR January 1st and kick the season off right with all of our bull riders up there with Monster Energy. Those are the fun things that we're always doing together, and it's great to be that lead ambassador in NASCAR.
Jerry, then Claire, then Nate.
Jerry Jordan, KickingStars.net. Can you talk to us a little bit about the journey to get this contract done? And because, you know, obviously as lead mission, 1 year, but to have a multi-year contract, we talked to you at Kentucky, I believe, and you said you were working this deal. Can you take us through that process when you decided you really wanted to come back and continue racing with Chip, and how that played out?
Yeah, again, there's different timelines for sponsorship engagement, as well as when there's the opportunity to sign on the line for the contract. There's things with the manufacturer. You know, again, Ashley, my wife, had a big influence on me, and so it's a matter of everything aligning right.
I think too it was a matter of getting in the, you know, we were in the playoffs, and you know, I don't think that was any time to, you know, with Kurt, I said, hey, we're in the playoffs here. Let's just keep what's important in front of our nose here, and see if we can drill down a few weeks here before we get back to the contract stuff.
And that's
You know,
this
just
is the
staying-
soonest.
It's a matter of staying focused on what's important. I think we knew. I think each of us knew we could see the shoreline, and that's what we knew we were working towards that. I think.
This was the soonest that we got it all put together.
Claire?
Claire B. Lang, Sirius XM NASCAR Radio. 2 questions. The first is, what do you still love about racing? Nobody ever counts Kurt Busch out. You know, you've raced for a long time. Is it things you still have to accomplish? What is it that you so love still about racing to do this deal?
What the best part about my situation now is being a veteran driver, and to find another chapter to look at, and to go through the process of teaching young engineers, young crew members, and to be with Matt McCall, a crew chief who won his first race this year. It's what I call a cycle, or circle, so to speak, of when people helped me come up in racing and gave me this advice or this opportunity and this chance. I was appreciative of that. And I see a spot now in my career where I can give back in that same way. And that's where there was more in the tank to give for me personally. There's some race wins that I want to go and win, you know, such as the Southern 500. This is another opportunity for more championships. And so there's more things to find. I'm never complacent, and that's something that I think was instilled in me early on, and that's that drive and that desire to continue to keep going.
And what is it that you see in Chip Ganassi? Chip has been known to be a player's owner. You know, Kyle Larson wanted to finish his career with him because he believed in him even when he didn't come with any money. He said, this is years ago. What is it that you found with Chip that suits you, your style, and has you moving on with him?
I think it's just the ease of operation and the clarity, and what he expects out of me is the same thing I expect out of him. The two of us are more alike than we really even know, and that has been the draw.
Nate?
Nate Ryan, NBC Sports. I have one for Kurt, one for Chip. Kurt, in the past, Monster typically has signed 1-year deals, not just with you, but they typically get signed late, like the NASCAR entitlement. So this obviously is happening a little bit earlier, and it's multi-year. Did any reason that Monster agreed multi-year and to do it a little bit earlier? Was that some persuasion on your part, or what was the reason for that?
I believe it's the value of moving the needle and having a positive experience with the race team that they signed on with to advertise with their driver for me to represent their brand in this sport of NASCAR. And the way that the entitlement sponsorship was changing and the way that it's evolving for them, it all came together a little bit quicker this time around, and I'm very grateful for that, appreciative, and it's also humbling on how much they've put into me and how much I get to enjoy the advertising that they put out there, and how many times on my social media that there's kids or different programs that are matching up with the advertising on when they use that number 1 Chevrolet. It's really neat. And so I don't know all the exact reasons. I'm just, again, grateful that they came together a lot sooner.
And then, Chip, I'm looking forward to getting my copy of Kurt's deal. But normally you are very close to the vest when you re-sign drivers. You don't make announcements. Any reason why you're a little bit more out front this time? Was this a monster decision? Or?
Well, I think it goes without saying. You know, when you have, I think having Monster is part of it. I think, what they mean to the series, and I think they're obviously their involvement in NASCAR behooves it. To have a nice announcement, and that's why we're doing it.
I asked them to come along. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Bob?
Bob Hockers, Fox Sports. Kurt, at what point this year did you know that you wanted to continue Cup racing, and what is it about the next-gen car that makes you so want to be at least part of it for 1 year?
Let me answer that. I just want to answer the second part of that first. The car, if you, one of the things I think each of you need to know about this guy is you look over his career and look at all the different Cup cars he's driven. Okay, the car tomorrow, the car before the car tomorrow, whatever that one was, the regular car, the car tomorrow, car of yesterday. All these iterations of cars that take a different style of driving. This guy to my right's adapted to pretty quickly, and I think that's going to be important. That's an important point going forward. I think you're going to want to keep your eyes on, because a lot of times these cars come along, and I don't know if you noticed, but these new cars come along, and some drivers don't adapt to them as well as you might think, and so I think that's an important point to point out with Kurt. Go ahead, Kurt. You can answer that. You can answer.
Oh, thank you. The next gen car is something that I had my eye on, and to your first part of that question, January 1st, I wanted to race again next year and the year after. The way our season started was tremendous. We were exceeding expectations in all areas, and I knew that would resonate well with our manufacturer, with our sponsor, and our team. But again, some of the decisions that went into all of this were what 2021 looks like, and 2020 as far as the bridge on getting there. And Ganassi and the group all made it come together here this last week.
Jim?
Jim Utter, motorsport.com. For Chip, sort of follow up on what you were just talking about. It's not always easy for a driver to go into a brand new situation, starting from scratch again. What the performance of Kurt during this season, not only in terms of his own team, but also, as you mentioned beforehand, raising the level of perhaps the 42 as well. How much did that impress you during the course of this season?
Yeah, Jim, quite a lot, to tell you the truth. And I think each of you know this, but you need to hear it again. And it's that, in all these teams of people, you have multiple teams, multiple people within these teams, and you're always searching for the right mix, the right, the right group of people to work as a team, to work together as a team, whether it's what happens on Monday, what happens on Tuesday, every day. These guys work awful hard, the pit crews, everybody knows the work that goes into these teams, and the word team and what a team has to do. And we've all been in these situations where you bring one person in and it changes the entire complexion of the team. And that's exactly what happened here. We brought one person in, the team's exactly the same as it was a year ago. We bring one person in and it changes the complete complexion, okay? And it's down to one thing. It's one guy that does that, and it was him. And it's hard for a team owner in sports to tell you how hard teams work to get to this, excuse me, to get to this, kind of position. I don't know why my phone's ringing. To get to this position, but people in sports will tell you, you're always looking for that right combination, that right mix of people and that right thing. And to have, and that's what it is a lot of times. One person leaves or one person comes in, and it changes the entire complexion of the team. And that's what Kurt did. And I can't tell you what, I mean, all of us in management, I don't know about the rest of the team, I'm sure the rest of the team too, but all of us in management were just kind of standing around early in the season going, man, I can't believe this guy. We signed him one day, and the next day he's there at 8 o'clock in the morning doing pit stop practice, okay? I haven't seen a driver in our race shop at 8 in the morning ever, okay? And, so, I mean, that's the kind of spark the guy brings to the team. He's in there working hard at it. And a lot of what you get with Kurt Busch is not advertised within the media that I think, and it's a lot of things that team owners like and crew guys like. I talked to some people over at his previous team, and actually his previous teams, and I go, hey, what about this? What about Kurt? What do you guys think about Kurt? And the first thing they said to me was, the team guys loved him. The guys on the team loved him. That's the truth, and it's true. I can see why. He works hard at it, and that's what he did to the team here. And I mean, early on in the season, you can ask. These guys are in the room here today. You can ask them. I mean, they were just, what he brought to the team. I don't know any other way to say it than it was just the spark that we needed. And now that we got a long-term deal, I'm not going to let him forget the spark either. If I have to.
Luis Torres, Motorsports Trivia. This question goes for Kurt. Now that you have this multi-year deal with Ganassi and Monster, and you mentioned that you're a racer, is Indianapolis not out of the equation at this time? The 500?
Yeah, to run the Indianapolis 500 is still on the list. It's not as high of a priority to run that race at this point, but the month of May is a little ways away, and there's always time in between for that decision.
All right. Any other questions over here?
Rob Tianx for the PonyFinish.net. Kurt, congratulations on your multi-year deal. Now that you've had that situation, and given your career, what has Ganassi brought to the table that's pretty much made you even a better race car driver? And how thankful are you to know that you don't have to worry about your future for any time soon?
Well, I appreciate that. That could be one of our final questions. I'd like for anybody that has a Monster Energy to raise it up, open it up, and we'll have a toast, if at all possible. We'll pass. Oh, sorry, they haven't passed them out. We'll pass them out. We'll get to that. But to your question, it's at this point in my career, to have this type of offer, I'll just sum it up in one quick phrase. Chip Ganassi gave me an offer I couldn't refuse, and to have everybody that's part of Team Ganassi and the race team and the shop guys, the overwall guys, everybody that's at our race shop, they're like family now. And I felt like that family should be extended out, and to bring the family of Monster Energy to our race shop, and to have the car in that flat black with the Monster Claw, and the way that the fans love that car and they appreciate that car, it gives me that motivation to continue to keep driving, and it gives me that spark to keep pushing and to get more trophies and to have more shots at winning races and championships. So with all that said, cheers. Thank you, Chip.